everyone. I am Lisa Welsh, the director of the Homes for Heroes Foundation, and I'm here to talk about serving and helping our heroes in need. Am I good on volume there in the back? Okay. So as you all probably know, the foundation was started more than 10 years ago as a way for Homes for Heroes to expand its circle of giving. Because you all participate in the Homes for Heroes program, that makes the foundation possible. The foundation is funded because Homes for Heroes donates a portion of its earnings to the foundation every month. So hopefully when you are talking to heroes about the program, you're letting them know about the foundation as well, and that they're supporting our heroes in need. So every time a hero buys or sells their home using the Homes for Heroes program, they're also helping heroes in need. So that was last year. Hopefully you guys have been following along with the Circle of Giving. We're at about $725,000 in grants awarded to date. As the company has really grown, so has the foundation. There's another layer, though, that I wanted to take a minute to talk about, which is hero organizations. When you're out in the community talking to heroes, you know, many times you're talking one-on-one with heroes, but many times, too, you have opportunities to speak with groups of heroes. I know that many of you are going into schools, you're going into fire stations and talking about the program. You're volunteering your time with local hero organizations to spread the word from the ground up. And I think as Christopher Bowles mentioned in our last session, we also want you to know that Homes for Heroes is working top down, so to speak, with some of those same hero organizations to let them know about the program and to spread the word. We're working with hero organizations like the Fraternal Order of Police, or FOP. So they're serving and supporting their memberships, and of course they know better than anyone what their hero constituencies need. So Homes for Heroes has been working with the highest levels of the FOP to help educate their membership about what we offer, all of our circle of giving, and the full benefits. And we'll have more to come on some partnerships we're working on further down the road. But in the meantime, we're very excited that the president of the FOP, Patrick Yost, has joined us for this Success Camp, and I'd love to introduce him to you all. So President Yost is himself an active law enforcement officer, so I want to say on behalf of everyone here, thank you for your service. President Yost serves with the St. Charles Sheriff's Office outside of New Orleans, or New Orleans. He's been an active member of the FOP for over 35 years, 8 terms as lodge president of his local lodge, 22 years on the Louisiana State Executive Board with the national FOP since 2003, and elected national president last year. So that's a lifetime of service, of course. So the FOP not only serves and supports its members, but they also created the National FOP Foundation to help their members in need. One of their initiatives is their disaster relief fund. So when their membership is personally impacted, their homes, their families, by things like hurricanes, wildfires, and so on, they have that fund there to help their members. So I'd like to invite President Yost to share with you all a little bit about that, how the FOP Foundation supports its members.
Great, thank you. I appreciate it, thank you. Well, good morning. So let me tell you, it's a pleasure being here. Let me tell you a little story of how I ended up here. I was asked if I'd come here and speak with you, and y'all have been such a great partner for so long before we ever talked about any business relationship, you were supporting the functions that we do. And so when I was asked to come here and speak, I said, well, absolutely, I'm coming. And then right after I committed to doing that, I got an invitation to go to the White House to St. Patrick's Day party the same exact day, and I chose to come here with you. So the good thing is, I got an email late last night. It was canceled, so so I'm feeling pretty good about it. So guys, let me tell you a little bit about the Fraternal Order of Police. We have 350,000 members across the country and about 2,180 individual local lodges. And we are the largest and oldest rank and file police organization in the country at 105 years. And the reason why our success is the way it is, we really are a bottoms-up organization where our members make decisions at the local level, and it is the state's lodge's responsibility and national lodge's responsibility in order to be able to provide those support services for them and to be successful. On a national level and on a state level, we're always looking for benefits and ways to be able to improve the quality of life for our members. So we do a lot of work trying to find just those right niches to fit into. But I want to talk about something a little different that's a little, that's our organization. But let me tell you something pretty powerful. The reason I know about Homes for Heroes is because I get a call one day saying, you know what, we like to give back to, we have no business relationship on a national level, but we like to give back to our heroes in housing needs. And is there a way that we could partner? And so I'll tell you a little story on where this fits in. Back in 2005, on August 29th, Hurricane Katrina came in and hit Louisiana and devastated it in the New Orleans area. I was the president of Louisiana State Lodge at the time. I had 6,000 members, and on August 29th, 2005, at around 10:30 at night, 2,000 of my members, 1/3 of my membership, were homeless. That's when the levees broke, and that's when a storm came through and just wiped out our members. So let me tell you what we did as an organization, recognizing, you consider ourselves, a labor organization, defending our members' rights, and doing all of the things, providing that job stability. But when something like that happens, well, you're not a labor organization anymore. You are what your members need. So we completely shifted our mission and started doing positive things to help our members move forward. And through our foundation, because we had just hosted a conference in New Orleans, all of our members had been there just 3 weeks before, and they had such a connection to what happened that their outpouring of support raised just over $1 million in order to be able to support Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. And let me tell you what it did. It allowed us to go out there and start feeding and giving supplies to officers who had absolutely nothing. I want you to think about something. You're homeless. Up is down, right is left. Everything is completely the opposite, and the world fell apart. And I got to tell you, as a nation, if we haven't learned from the mistakes and the shortcomings for what happened in Katrina on all levels of government, then shame on our country, as this is ridiculous of what happened there. But let me tell you what we did. Because of that outpouring of support, and the reason why I want to make this point is we raised that money, and I was able to give a $500 check to a person who lost their home. Now, I know you're probably saying, how much, what can you do with $500 if you've lost everything? Well, let me tell you, it was a lot. You can do a lot. It wasn't just $500 because they knew it came from their peers, and they knew it came from people who recognized the challenges that they had, and because of that, you would not believe the response that I got from all of these members. Let me tell you what was absolutely awesome. I was able to give that $500 check out 1,874 times to people who were in desperate need at a time when they couldn't get access to banks, they didn't know where their family was, they couldn't move, cash was king. If you didn't have cash, you didn't have anything. I was able to do that because of the generosity of people. So when Homes for Heroes said, you know what, we have this fund and we want to help, want to help our first responders when they're in housing needs. Well, we started that fund from Hurricane Katrina. We never stopped it. And every time there's a disaster, we do that same exact thing. We help our members when they're in a tough spot. $500 might not seem like a whole lot, but it's what we do when you look at the scale of the amount that we put out. But all of this morphed into something else. Always, every time, because during Hurricane Katrina, I had people came in and helped us stabilize and put our lives back together. It took us about a year to do it. And I've always responded. Whenever there's a disaster, I always went and did it. Just see what's happening in Tennessee with the devastation that they've had. We're on the ground helping our members, doing positive things for them, and those that have damage to their homes. Where, through the money that we were able to put in our foundation from Homes for Heroes, we're able to help people in their darkest moments. So I can't thank you enough for that. But we decided, I've always responded to these disasters and said, you know what, if we're the largest police organization in the country, why do we not have a formal response? I've always gone out and helped small volunteer groups to help out in areas. And we are in the process right now. We have just purchased a NASCAR-style trailer, and it is being converted into a mobile kitchen. And the reason why we picked the NASCAR trailer is because that second level they have is where all our storage is going to be. And when we respond to disasters, it's being retrofitted right now. It's interesting. It was almost in the path of the tornado where we have it being retrofitted right now in Tennessee. But it is being retrofitted, and we're going to do two functions. Through our sponsors, we've got a number of corporate sponsors, we are going to deploy that trailer along with volunteers, and we're going to do two things. We're going to feed all first responders, and I can tell you as a first responder has been in a disaster, don't take it for granted that food's there. We're going to give them hot meals, that's great for morale. But let me ask you a question. If there's a disaster in a community, who's exposed to it? Who are the victims? Well, you say the community, right? Well, guess what? Our members, those first responders, they live in that community as well, and they're affected just as much. So let me ask you a question. If it is their responsibility to put a community back together, how focused are they on doing it if their own property is torn up? So let me tell you what we've been doing and what we are going to do on a much larger scale. When that trailer responds, it's also going to go with remediation units, and they're going to go out to first responders' homes, and they're going to do repairs. They're going to do mitigation. They're going to put tarps on the roof. They're going to rip out sheetrock. They're going to do whatever they need to do so the officer can stay on the job, focusing on what he needs to do while we take care of first responders. And that's what we do, and that's what we do through the support we get from Homes for Heroes. So, I thank you. I'll finish with this. Look, at the end of the day, and I listened to your panel this morning, what great discussion. I look forward to a relationship with, with Homes for Heroes. We have, a couple of things that we're going to pair together, which I think is going to give an opportunity for us to work. But I believe you with this. And some of the things that were said this morning just hit home with me, and I tell this to our members all the time. At the end of the day, it's not the services we provide, not that they're not important. It's not the products we provide, not that they're not important. What's important at the end of the day is the relationship we built around every one of them. And that's really what it comes down to. There's real people we're dealing with in every one of these issues. Everyone has their own challenges, and it's our job not to add to them and find ways to make lives better. Thank you very much for all you do. Thank you.
He is much taller than I am, as you can tell. So last year we were able to give $12,500 to support the FOP Foundation's Disaster Relief Fund, and early this year we've given another $10,000. Their FOP Foundation is headquartered in Nashville, Tennessee. So as we all know, these things are always ongoing. There's always a need out there. So we're really proud to continue that relationship and support what they're doing, so that their heroes, when they're rushing into these situations and they need our support, we have it there ready for them. So I'm proud to present the $10,000 check to President Yost on behalf of Homes for Heroes Foundation to FOP Foundation.
Thank you very much. Say one more quick thing.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. And that disaster relief trail I was telling you about, it's 53 feet long, 8 foot wide, and it's pretty damn tall. It's huge. It's a NASCAR trailer. You see them going on the road with all these, well, it's being wrapped, and it is going to have a Homes for Heroes logo on the side of our trailer when it deploys. So thank you.
So disaster relief is obviously one of our main focuses for the foundation. We have two others. One of those is Hero Health and Family. So when you see some of our announcements, whether it's a hero who's battling cancer, in need of a service dog, medical transportation, or surviving family members where a hero has been injured or killed in the line of duty, that's another major area that we focus on in our giving. And then our third major initiative that I'll talk about for a minute is hero housing needs, obviously. That's what we're all about, right? So this is really focused around veteran homelessness and homeless prevention. This will be our third year with a major grant coming up in May around National Military Appreciation Month, where we're again really going to focus on our military and veterans who are in crisis. So the good news is, I don't know if this gets talked about a lot, but over the last decade, there's been a real substantial decline in veteran homelessness. So that means that best practices, the assistance we're giving, it's all working. So that's the really good news. But of course, the bad news is there's always still a lot of veterans who need that kind of support. A year ago, one snapshot found 37,000 veterans facing homelessness. About 2/3 of those were in some form of temporary shelter, and about 1/3 of those were unsheltered on the streets. So I'd like to next introduce an amazing national nonprofit focused on helping our military and veteran heroes. That's Operation Homefront. I'm proud to introduce Operation Homefront's Chief Operating Officer, General Robert Thomas, to the stage. General Thomas served 31 years in the Air Force before retiring as a brigadier general. So again, on behalf of everyone here, thank you for your service. He joined Operation Homefront's leadership about 5 years ago. Their mission is to build strong, secure military families, not just to survive, but thrive. They're one of the most highly rated and highly respected charities. Superior service, 4-star charity navigator for over a decade. They spend well over 90% of their funds directly on their programming, which is a really high bar. So they're a fantastic organization. We've had multiple affiliates around the country nominate this group. So hopefully, that's another great example of connecting on all levels because they're operating throughout the country. So affiliates are getting to know their local offices of Operation Homefront, and we're also now connecting at the national level. So by some serendipity out in the universe, they're actually headquartered here in San Antonio. So we're extremely lucky to have General Thomas here, if you'd like to say a few words about their organization.
Thanks. Well, thanks, Lisa, for that kind introduction, and thank you for the opportunity to say a few words today. Like you said, I'm Robert Thomas, the Chief Operating Officer of Operation Homefront. And it's great to be given the opportunity to speak to Homes for Heroes in your success camp. I know you've got a full day, so I'm going to be brief, but I would like to give you a few words and tell you where your very kind donation, where those dollars will be spent. Operation Homefront is a little bit different than other veteran-serving organizations in that we focus on the family. And of course, the veteran is part of the family, but all of our programs focus on military families. Like Lisa said, our mission is to help build strong, stable, secure military families so they thrive, not just struggle to get by, but thrive in those communities they've worked so hard to protect. Our thinking is those military families have been there for us in our nation's time of need, and we need to be there for them in their time of need. Like Lisa highlighted, we're really proud of the fact that 92% of our expenditures go directly to support programming. We're a top-rated charity by Charity Watch. We're A-rated by Charity Watch, a top rating by Charity Navigator with their platinum seal of transparency, and we're fully accredited by the Better Business Bureau and meet all 20 of their recommended accountability standards. So we're really proud of those ratings. We work very hard to make sure that we comply, so a donor can feel comfortable that the dollars that they donate to Operation Homefront will be spent appropriately. All of our assistance is needs-based, and it is conditional. So if you don't need, so what that means is when you apply for assistance, we want to see some documentation, and if you have enough resources to fund what you're requesting, then you don't need our help. And the condition normally is you have to get some financial counseling from one of our accredited financial counselors. Find a lot of families can solve some of their problems with a little more focus on their budget and other areas. We've got a really broad portfolio of relief, resiliency, and recurring family support programs. This year, since inception, we hope to deliver our 400,000th backpack full of school supplies to military kids. Now, we focus on the junior enlisted grades, pay grades E1 to E6. Why? Because their paychecks are really small. They tend to have young kids in the house, and back to school time is a very expensive time for all families, and those families in particular. Same target for our holiday meals program. This year we hope to deliver our 120,000th holiday meal to military families, once again focusing on the junior enlisted families, which in many cases wouldn't have that special holiday meal any other way. Our two big flagship programs are our critical financial assistance and our homes program. On our critical financial assistance program this year, we hope to support our 45,000th request for assistance and surpass the $30 million mark in passing assistance to military families. We have a special place in our heart for housing programs. I don't have to tell this group how important that is. But the way I think of it, it's very kind of similar to some of the points President Yost made, which is until you have safe, stable, secure housing, nothing else is possible. So you can find the perfect school, the perfect community, the perfect house of worship. You can find a physician that has that medical specialty you need. You can be close to relatives, depending on your relatives, how close you want to be. I want to be kind of about 50 miles away. But if you don't have safe, stable, secure housing, nothing else is possible. And so we think that's very important. So in Operation Homefront, our logo has a home on it, and the logo has a family on it because we think it's that important. We have 3 big housing programs. The first is our Homes on the Homefront program. We partner with some big mortgage bankers, JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Pulte, Meritage for new home builds. The families enter the program. It's not a free house program. They enter the program. They agree to work on reducing debt, increasing savings, work on a personal goal, whatever that might be. Many times it's educational or get that job they've been working on. They agree to meet monthly with a financial counselor. And at the end of 2 years on average, we deed them that home. So this year we hope to enter our 700th family into that program. We've deeded over 600 homes to military families, passing over $85 million in deeded value. Now, these are not crystal palaces. They have a median value of about $154,000. They're great homes, though. And before we accept the home, we only accept about half. We make sure the neighborhood's good, the crime rate's low, the schools are good, and there's great economic opportunity for our families. The other programs we have is our transitional housing program. We've got 3 transitional housing villages in San Diego, San Antonio, and in Washington, D.C., co-located with the big medical centers. Walter Reed, Brooks Armory Medical Center here, Balboa Naval Hospital. And those are for military families going through the medical discharge process. So here's a typical scenario. I've got to retire for either battlefield type injuries or an illness. My last paycheck in the military has come and gone, but my VA hasn't adjudicated my case. I've got very little or no savings, got no money, and I've got no income. So we give the families a safe, secure place to stay for about a year while they get everything lined up, their VA benefits in place, they have a follow-on housing plan, and they can go off to success. So we want to intervene before you start running up credit cards, worst case, taking out payday loans, and now things can really spiral downward quickly. Our newest program is Transitional Homes for Community Reintegration. We got some very kind grants from the Fop Foundation. We buy brand new homes. So we have 10 homes in the program right now. We're going to grow to 20 homes by the end of 2021. And those are for our veteran families coming out of service. They're not sick or injured. They're just transitioning out after serving the nation. They'll stay in the home for 2 to 3 years. They'll take part in the program, increase savings, reduce debt, meet with a financial counselor. The homes are located in cities with a big military presence where we know veterans want to live long-term. And we accept families into the program that want to live in those cities. We have 2 of the homes right here in San Antonio. And the thinking is, after 2 to 3 years, the families graduate from the program. They don't have to change, the kids don't have to change schools. If they get that great job, they don't have to lose their job. But they're already where they want to live. Now, in the program, we ask them to pay a monthly stipend, so every family gets in the habit of putting something aside every month for housing. But what I like best about this program is at the end of that 2 to 3 year period, every dollar they put into that, we give back to them in a lump sum. So we give them a big cash check to get them started on the next phase of their life. So that's a wonderful program. And importantly, in the transitional housing and THCR programs, we also fund a first-time homebuyers workshop for those families. So when the time comes to buy a home, they know all they need to know, or they know the questions they need to be asking. We're on the verge of starting another program, Transitional Housing Apartments, hasn't gotten off the ground yet, but I think we're going to beta test a program with 4 apartments very soon. So that's a brief highlight of all of our programs that we have. We have a lot of others, but those are our biggest ones. I do have a video I'd like to show. It does a much better job of explaining what Operation Homefront's all about than I can. It's about 2 minutes long, so if we could go ahead and start the video, that would be great.
I was a surgical technician in the Air Force. I was 10 years in, I was about to get deployed. I was going to the doctor just for small symptoms that I was feeling.
I did 2 deployments for the 43rd Medical Detachment. My second deployment was 15 months long.
I was an AZAN in the United States Navy.
And all of a sudden, they came back with a diagnosis that I had rheumatoid arthritis. I ended up getting medically separated, and I don't know what I'm going to do.
Found out I had pulmonary hypertension. So within 2 months, I had already had determination for release and everything.
I had a kid, and my husband and I separated. So I wasn't able to continue with the sea duty. Homelessness is always a possibility when you're a single mom coming out the military.
And there was no one to help. You feel lost. We went to Operation Homefront's Critical Financial Assistance Program. The caseworker said, I will advocate for you. That's what she told me. I will advocate for you.
As we got closer to Michael's medical release date, that's when we got the call that we were accepted into the villages, which was such a huge, relief off our shoulders.
I got a call that says, you know you actually are receiving the home, right? She called me at work. I literally jumped out of my chair.
Right now we can focus on school. We can focus on our children and not having to worry about the house.
We are truly thankful for those who support the Operation Homefront program. It fills a need when you're transitioning from the military. It's a wonderful program.
Through the Operation Homefront, Homeowner Homefront program, I was able to reduce debt and build up savings by 75%.
Operation Homefront supports tens of thousands of military families each year, but there are many more that still need assistance. You can help. Learn how at operationhomefront.org.
My family is stronger.
My family is stronger.
My family is stronger thanks to Operation Homefront.
All right, so in conclusion, I'd just like to say, I've seen that video 1,000 times, and it hits me the same way every time, which is I could have been in that video. I got a couple lucky breaks, but the breaks could have gone the other direction, and I'd have been in a really tough spot. So it's great that we're able to help these heroes that run into some troubled waters. Special thanks to the affiliates in Arizona and Pennsylvania. I know you nominated Operation Homefront for the grant today, and I really appreciate that. So thank you for inviting me to say a few words. Have fun here in San Antonio tonight. It's a great place. If you're a restaurant person, there's a ton of choices. Just go to the river and take a right and start walking. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you very much to General Thomas. Unfortunately, the affiliates who had done the nomination weren't able to join us here on stage. Obviously, they'd be welcome to come up and join us if they were here. But I'd like to present from the Homes for Heroes Foundation to Operation Homefront $10,000 for their critical financial assistance program. Thank you for all your time and listening to us talk about how we're helping heroes in need from the foundation, but really just to take a moment and say, obviously the foundation isn't possible without everybody in this room. That's what the Circle of Giving is all about. Obviously, heroes serve because they care about serving others. We find that, in talking about what we provide and all of the benefits in the complete circle, it really engages heroes who don't just want to benefit themselves, but are always looking to benefit somebody else. So none of that would be possible without everybody here today, so thank you for supporting the program and letting our heroes and the hero organizations know all about us. And with that, we'll move on to the next part of the program. Thank you.
Thank you for checking out this great video from Success Camp 2020. Make sure that you save the dates of March 12th and 13th to attend Success Camp 2021, which will be hosted in the city with the best beaches in America, Clearwater, Florida. As we do every year, we'll be committed to making sure that Success Camp is the #1 event for real estate agents and mortgage lenders who are committed to growing their business by serving the heroes in their community. And make sure that you subscribe to the Homes for Heroes YouTube channel, where we publish great content to help you grow your real estate or mortgage lending business.